Florida, with its concrete jungles, it's still the Sunshine State. Its balmy weather and gorgeous beaches make it a perfect place for retirement, but tragedy can strike even in our latter years. This is the horrifying story of Gloria Surge. The grandmother was walking her dog in her peaceful community when a huge alligator attacked them and dragged the woman to her death deep beneath the silver surface of the water. This is fierce. Alligators are not among the reasons people choose to retire in Florida. It's more about the weather, the beaches, the active adult communities, and the lower cost of living. But despite this, many Florida residents know that they share their space with the huge reptiles. There are over 1 million alligators in Florida, and every one of them can be a possible threat under the right or, wrong circumstances. When it comes to alligator attacks, the best way to avoid them is to keep your distance from the cold-blooded animals, but that's not always possible. Since alligators have inhabited Florida's waters for centuries and they don't seem to be going anywhere, many residents have come to regard them as permanent fixtures to their communities. Gloria Surge lived in the Spanish Lakes Fairways community in northern St. Lucie County for 20 years, and Gloria, like her neighbors, knew there were alligators in the community's lake. But over time, they've come to be desensitized to the animals. After all, the gators spent their days basking in the sun, seemingly too lazy and disinterested to pose a real threat to the community. Residents in the Spanish Lakes Fairways community had even come to call one of the alligators Henry. It was just how it was, life and its little oddities. It was around noon on February 20th, 2023, when Gloria Surge decided to take her dog for a walk. It was a daily habit. Trooper, her small black and white Shih Tzu, needed the exercise. Gloria loved her dog dearly. At 85 years old, the woman was a widow. Her children were all adults, and she had several grandchildren, but she lived alone with the dog in the Spanish Lakes Fairways community, in the county seat of St. Lucie County, Fort Pierce. Like many other communities for active adults, Spanish Lakes Fairways offers a large number of amenities, such as golf or tennis, but people almost always need the presence of another being. That's why so many of us have pets, and many of us would do anything for our pets. They're part of the family. Gloria Surge was the type of person who would have done anything for her dog. That noon, on February 20th, 2023, she took Trooper for a walk around the neighborhood. It was a beautiful, quiet day in a beautiful, quiet place. After a while, Gloria and Trooper made their way toward one of the small lakes in the area. The lakes, or ponds, were all connected. As they made their way toward the body of water, Trooper was more than excited. Once they got to the edge of the water, little Trooper seemed enthralled by some new, exciting smell. Gloria let him smell away, not really paying attention to the dog or to the lake. If anything, she looked somewhere over the horizon, maybe content to let Trooper experience something so obviously exciting to him. But not paying attention to her surroundings was a mistake, especially since she was near water in Florida with a small and very lively dog being next to her. As the woman stood there, looking over the horizon, something was happening. Something big was coming toward her, moving swiftly just beneath the surface of the water. Its rapid movements caused small, rippling waves, but Gloria Surge was unaware, perhaps too caught up in her thoughts to notice. Trooper, the woman's small Shih Tzu, was equally unaware of the incoming danger. But that something beneath the water surface was coming closer and closer by the second. And then, just as Gloria was making the first steps to leave the edge of the lake, a massive alligator burst out of the water and lunged for Trooper. Gloria Surge must have been terrified. As soon as the alligator shot out of the water, Trooper started moving erratically, desperate to get away from the huge reptile. The sudden movements and the fear caused Gloria to fall down hard on the ground, but she wasted no time before acting. She had to save Trooper from those massive jaws. The woman managed to get the dog out of the alligator's way, but this came at a terrible price. The alligator turned its attention to her, and in an instant it grabbed her by the leg and started to drag her toward the water. Meanwhile, 76-year-old Carol Thomas was alerted by the racket. She made her way toward the source of the agitated sounds just in time to witness the alligator attacking and dragging Gloria Surge beneath the surface. Carol Thomas was more than shocked, but despite the petrifying fear, she tried her best to help Gloria get out of the water. Carol Thomas quickly called 911 to let them know about the attack. "There's a woman in the lake. The alligators got her," she told the operator. While she was on the phone, she spotted Gloria resurface for a split second. Desperate to help, Carol encouraged Gloria to swim toward a paddle boat that was overturned in the lake and away from the animal, but it was no use. In a matter of seconds, Gloria was once again pulled beneath the surface. But Gloria Surge was nowhere to be seen. In her heart, Carol Thomas knew there's no way she could have gotten there sooner. Some 8 minutes into the call to 911, the woman was sure Gloria was now dead. "I think she's gone. Oh my God," she told the operator. She was right. An alligator trapper was sent to the community as soon as authorities received Carol Thomas's call. The first attempts to bring the animal to the surface failed. The alligator was stubborn, and it wanted to live. Robert Lilly, the alligator trapper, later told reporters, "It was definitely a fight. We snagged him on the bottom. He never surfaced. He stayed down the whole time. We were able to get a second hook in him and a hard line in him so we could get him up." Several people struggled to get the gator out of the lake. The animal was euthanized soon after it was captured. Gloria Surge's family refused to talk to the media. Carol Thomas, the woman who tried to save Gloria, told the press that she had the chance to speak to some of Gloria's friends in the community. "It's just horrible, horrible. And her friends, I spoke to a couple of her friends yesterday, who are devastated," the woman said. Once again, Florida authorities had to warn residents about walking their pets near the ponds or lakes in the area. Predatory attacks can happen in a flash, and small animals are always a target for alligators. Gloria Surge was the third alligator fatality since July 2022. Despite this, authorities point out that the number of attacks in Florida is small. There had allegedly been only 26 fatal alligator attacks in Florida from 1948 to 2021, and according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, Florida has averaged 8 unprovoked bites per year that are serious enough to require professional medical treatment over the past 10 years. 3 more alligators have been removed from the neighborhood after Gloria Surge's death, although it is unclear whether these animals came from the same lake in which Surge died. But the lakes are connected, and gators can travel between them. Spanish Lakes Fairways HOA President Jay Mandelker said this: "If you're walking by a lake, a pond, anywhere in Florida, understand this is Florida. There could be alligators. So do not walk against the edges of any pond or lake. Stay a safe distance away."